Om. 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 Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahe Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahe. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada. Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada. Samasta Janakalyane Niratam Karunaham Namami Chinmayam Devam Satgurum Brahma Vidaram Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langhayate Girim Yatkripa Tamaham Vande Paramananda Madhavam Paramananda Madhavam. Okay, let's start. Let's read the verses that we covered last week. We'll read verses 4, 5, and 6. Okay. Buddhirjnanasammohaha Kshama Satyam Damashamaha Sukham Dukkham Bhavo Bhavaha Bhayam cha bhayameva cha ahimsa samata tushtihi tapodanam yasho yashaha bhavanti bhava bhutanam matta eva prithag vedhaha maharshaya sapta purve chatvaro manavastatha madbhava manasa jataha yesham loka ima prajaha. So here Bhagwan is talking about his Vibhuti and his yoga. Yoga is his essence, his essential nature as that pure being. Vibhuti is how he expresses. So in verses 4 and 5, he says that my yoga is the source of all of these thoughts. And my Vibhuti is all of these thoughts. So all kinds of thoughts that we have, they're the Vibhuti of Bhagwan. And the source of all of the thoughts is the yoga of Bhagwan. Now, some might say, but sometimes thoughts are negative. Some are negative thoughts, some are disturbing thoughts, some are hard thoughts. See, Bhagavan is that glory which enables all of it to come. But the thoughts that come to us are based on our vasanas. Bhagavan is that enabling power that enables all manifold thoughts to appear, to express, to come. But why are we having the thoughts that we're having? That's based on our vasana. So based on our vasana, we will have intelligence. Based on our vasanas, we will have the thought of fear, the thought of fearlessness. Instead of thinking about why we're thinking about this particular thought, trace it to the source of the thought. One Mahatma said, it's like thinking about Bhagwan's garden. Just think about your mind as Bhagwan's garden. Every single thing there is cropping up. It's Bhagwan's garden. But instead of what's coming up where and what's blooming and what's not blooming, just pay attention to the creator of it all. Pay attention to the source of it all. So when we pay attention to the source, that is called yoga. When we pay attention to the different expressions of it, that's called Vibhuti. So Bhagavan says, I am the Lord of the internal world. You need not try to find me anywhere. Just look behind your thoughts. Gurudev says very beautifully in one portion that, behind the curtain, the thought curtain, behind the thought curtain is Narayana. And further, in verse number 6, Bhagavan again says, I am the source of this entire world. How this world came to be, I am the source of it. Again, when we look at the expressions of the world, the current state it's in, why things are like this, why things are not like that, Bhagavan is the power that enables all of this to happen, but it's happening as per our total vasanas and total karma. So we can choose to pay attention to the Vibhuti, or we can choose to pay attention to the yoga, the source of all of this. The world is not made for fulfillment. I shared this in our satsang this weekend at Balvihar, that the world is not there to make us full, to make us peaceful, to make us relax. That's not the purpose of the world. The purpose of the world is to help us to grow, to evolve. So there is going to be up and down, and many ups and downs. But if we can draw our attention from the world to the origin, the source of the world, then we will really be able to enjoy the world. In fact, see it as entertainment. See it as Bhagavan's Leela. So once you see the yoga, you can enjoy the Vibhuti. But if you just see the Vibhuti, you can't really enjoy it without knowing the yoga. So Bhagavan says, see me as the creator of the internal world and the external world. See me as a source of everything, and see my expression in everything. In this way, you're never removed from me. Every single thought, every single event, every single happening has my signature. In one of the stories with Sri Krishna, the gopis asked him, how do you love your devotees? Sri Krishna, how do you love your devotees? Because there are some people who, when you love them, they love you back. There are some people who, even if you love them, they don't love you. And there's some people who, even if you show them so much, they really don't care to even look. So Sri Krishna said, see, I'm not the kind of person that if you love me, I love you back. Because that's business. That's a negotiation. And I'm also not the kind of person that if you don't love me, I will love you. Even if you don't love me, I will love you. I'm not that kind of person. Meaning I love everybody. I don't have such conditions. And I'm not even the kind of person, if people forget about me, I love them. Meaning Sri Krishna was trying to say, I don't have any such condition. The only thing I do is I love my bhakta so much that I hope and pray that my bhakta will think about me. This is how much I love my bhakta, my devotee. It's not any transaction. It's not any condition. It's not any kind of statement. I love my bhakta so much that I will do whatever it is to draw my bhakta closer to me. And if that bhakta needs joy, okay. If that bhakta needs sorrow, okay. But I will do whatever it takes so that that bhakta can think about me just like I think about my bhakta all the time. So this is how Bhagwan loves. This is his Vibhuti. What happens if we are able to see his Vibhuti and his yoga in everything? He gives us now the result of this kind of darshan. As I said last week, we have to stop seeking at some point. Seeking something, and start seeing. Start seeing that whatever we are seeking is already there. So this is now verse number 7. This is where we are at today. Etam vibhutim yogam cha.
Etam vibhutim yogam cha.
Mamayo vetti tattvataha.
Mamayo vetti tattvataha.
Sovikampena yogena.
Sovikampena yogena.
Yujyate natra samshayaha.
Yujyate natra samshayaha.
Etam vibhutim yogam cha. Mamayo vetti tattvataha. Sovikampena yogena. Yujyate natra samshayaha. So Bhagwan now gives the result. He says, Etam vibhutim yogam cha. This yoga and this vibhuti, yoga essence, vibhuti expression, mama, this my yoga and my vibhuti, yaha, the one who veti, the one who knows it, tatvataha, the one who knows it completely. The one who knows it totally, saha, that person, avikampena yogena yujyate, becomes established in avikampena yogena, in the unshakable yoga, tremorless yoga. Na atra samshayaha. Atra, in this, na samshayaha. There is no doubt. So he who in truth knows these manifold manifestations of my being, macrocosm, and this yoga power of my microcosm, becomes established in the tremorless yoga. There's no doubt about it. So what does this mean? This means that there are several meanings of this verse. It's a very, very beautiful verse. So we'll just explore the several meanings, but first we'll understand Vibhuti and yoga. And what does it mean to shake? So here, whenever vikampa means shake, shake. Avikampa means unshakable, not shaking. So when do we shake in this world? Sometimes when we're afraid, we tremor. We tremble, we shake. Sometimes when we're worried, we shake. Sometimes when we're restless and uneasy, people like their hands will shake or their legs will shake. Or sometimes if people get nervous while driving, they'll shake. The car shakes, it shakes. So in uneasiness, in restlessness, in fear, in terror, we tend to shake. And shake implies that there's a movement. That first I was still, and then all of a sudden I shook. I shook. So this shaking, it denotes movement, it denotes instability, it denotes all these other expressions. Shaking in Vedanta is when that I, that reality, identifies with the limited. So when I, that supreme reality, when I identify with the body, that is called a shake. That's called some yoga. So I, as Atma, am yoga. When I identify with the body, it's called some yoga. Some yoga means I as though establish a contact. When I connect with my mind or identify with my mind or my intellect, it is some yoga. There's a connection, some yoga. And whenever there's a connection, some yoga, there's also viyoga. There's also a disconnect. So sometimes there's a connection and sometimes there's a disconnection. So when I'm identified with my body and I feel completely connected to it. I am comfortable with it. I'm okay with it. Then it's fine. But the minute I don't like it, I don't like the way it is, the way it looks, there's a disconnect. There's a viyoga, or my mind. I connect to it. And if it's happy, it's fine. If it's happy, it's calm, it's stable, steady, fine, no problem. But the minute it gets restless, I want to disconnect from it. I feel such unease with the mind. There's a viyoga. So in all of this, there's a samyoga and viyoga. In all of our relationships with the world, when we see the world as different from us, we become restless that we want to acquire it. We see things other than us, so we say, I want that, I want this, I want to get that. And we want that samyoga, we want that connection, we want that contact. But when we discover that that contact gives us so much, angst, so much anxiety, so much pride, so much greed, then we want viyoga, we want to be separate from it. So all the while, what are we seeking? We're seeking to connect and to disconnect. We're seeking to connect and to disconnect. And this is the natural movement that's happening in our lives. We're seeking to connect to things and disconnect from them. So at some point we want to be in our phones, at some point we don't want to be in our phones. We're seeking to connect with people, but also disconnect with people. We seek to connect with our individuality, but at some points in time we seek to disconnect from it. And in all of this, there's a shakiness that comes. There's a movement that comes. So this is what causes us to tremble. Avikampa means there's no question of connecting or disconnecting. I am ever steady and still. There's no question of disconnecting or connecting because there's nothing other than me. There's nothing other than me. Only when there's something other, there's a movement, there's a shake. But if I know that there is nothing other than me, then there's no seeking to go out and connect or disconnect. In fact, it's impossible to connect or disconnect with yourself because you're the only one there. This is called Avikampa Yoga. The yoga where I understand that there's only one supreme reality. And even if it's one supreme reality, it can express as manifold, but there's only one. So whether I am in samadhi with the one or in vyavahara, in transactional world with the many, it's fine. I'm not connecting or disconnecting because I am always one. It's always me in essence and then me in expression. Me meaning supreme reality. So if we understand that, the consciousness, the essence is one, and then the minute it hits the mind, it becomes many. But it's still that consciousness. Consciousness is one. The minute it goes through the eyes, it sees many. But it's still that one. So there's never a fear. There's never a longing because there's only one. So this is called Avikampa Yoga. Avikampa Yoga is where the person doesn't shake. Not shaking because I only see that one reality everywhere. Gurudev gives this example, and I'm sure we saw this also in other verses, that a child, when let's say their parent is wearing a mask for Halloween or something like that. Parent is wearing a mask for Halloween, and the child doesn't know that that's my dad, and the dad is covered in the mask. The child is very scared because all of a sudden the child is in the house and there's some scary looking person walking around. But when the father removes the mask and says, hey, it's just me, it's okay, don't be scared, then the child feels relief. And the child himself will say, okay, put on the mask. That was kind of cool. You looked kind of cool. Huh? So without the mask, the father is yoga. With the mask, Vibhuti. And once the child knows that underneath the mask is just my father, then what is the fear there? There's no trembling. Now it's Navaratri. Durga Devi, she's the one that gives us all these trying and testing times. Now, amidst all of these times, which are turbulent, which are hard, which are tough, if we can see the smile of Durga Devi underneath it, then we don't tremble, we don't shake. Because we know that in and through everything that we're going through, there is Devi's smile behind it. And it's there for a reason. This means that we don't shake. Avikampa Yuka. Realistically, how will we see this in our lives? There's the example of Sharada Devi, Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa Ji's wife, Sharada Devi Ji. Once she was walking on her way to Dakshineshwar, right, to see Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa Ji. And she was walking with a group of people, and it was in the forest, and it was night already. So she was kind of walking a little slower, and the other people had gone ahead of her, and she was alone. All of a sudden, she was alone. One bandit came, one robber kind of person, thug kind of person came, and he had a club with him. He looked at her, and he was a big, huge guy. He looked at her. And she looked back at him. And he said, Where are you going? Where do you think you're going? And look at her response. She said, Father, I'm going to your son-in-law's house. Just look at her response. Huh? That very moment she said, Father. She didn't say, who are you to ask me? What are you doing? Father, I'm going to your son-in-law's house. And beside him, his wife also came, and she heard. And instead of them wanting to harm her or hurt her or to take anything from her, they said, she has called us Father. How can we harm her? How can we do anything wrong to her? This is that Avikampa Yoga. But even in that moment of fear, she has that ability to say, this is my Father. She has that ability to say it. Mm-hmm. So this is what it means. In all good times, it's easy to see God everywhere. God is here, God is there, God is everywhere. But in tough times, can we also see it? In trying times, can we also see it? And if we can, then we are established in that unshakable yoga. And he says very beautifully here, Yo Veti, the one who knows it. Meaning, this type of yoga, you cannot get in karma. You cannot get through karma. You cannot get through doing something, through attaining something, through trying something, buying something, going somewhere. Because whenever we do karma, it's for the sake of attaining another. So we go to the grocery to get something other. We go to travel to experience something other. We go to meet somebody to experience something other. So karma is always doing something to acquire something other than yourself and myself. So here he says, Veti means you cannot get this by action, because action is only to acquire something that's not you. Even upasana is a mental action. Here it's the one who knows, because knowledge is something that you do when it is you yourself. Knowledge is a revelation, it's not an acquisition. It is not attaining something else. It is the revelation of attaining who you are already, attaining that which is ever attained. So this kind of knowledge, This knowledge of truth is a revelation. So he says, Veti, don't try to go and do something to acquire something else to get it. You know it. You know it. Means know it as yourself. Know it as that which is already attained. Know it as who you are. And that's why he says, Tattvataha means completely know it as who you are. And once you do this, you will be established in that. So the first yoga, there's 2 times yoga used in this verse. The first yoga is essence. Yeah. The second yoga, when it says Avikampa yoga, that yoga means Samyak Darshana. Samyak Darshana means that tremorless yoga of seeing things as they are. Meaning you're seeing the reality as it is. We're not putting our own things into it. We're seeing things as it is. It is all Bhagwan only. It's all that reality only. There's nothing else. There's really nothing else. If you remember in chapter 7, we saw Sutre Manigana Iva, right? Can you pay attention to the thread, or are you paying attention to the gems of the necklace? Somebody's wearing a necklace. Are you paying attention to the underlying thread that strings all of the beads, or are you paying attention to each bead? So the one that can pay attention to the underlying thread, that one gets established, right? And he says, na atra samshaya. Don't have any doubt in this matter. Now the question is, he says, now how do I do this? What is the technique? What is the technique of really getting established? Can you tell me the technique? Because I'm curious about it. So in verse number 8, he says this, the technique. Gurudev says, what exactly is the technique by which we can get ourselves established steadily and permanently in the unbroken experience of the infinite as our own nature? So here we'll read, Aham sarvasya prabhavaha
Aham sarvasya prabhavaha
matta sarvam pravartate
matta sarvam pravartate
iti matva bhajante mam
iti matva bhajante mam
बुद्धा भावसमन्विताः
buddha bhava samanvitaha
अहं सर्वस्य प्रभवः मत्तः सर्वं प्रवर्तते इति मत्वा भजन्ते मां बुद्धा भावसमन्विताः. He says, Aham. Aham, I, sarvasya prabhavaha. I am the source of everything. Matta sarvam pravartate, meaning mattaha, from me, sarvam, everything, pravartate, everything evolves, sustained. Iti matva, understanding this, bhajante mam, worship me. Buddhaha, who worships me? Buddhaha, the wise, they worship me. Bhava samanditaha, endowed with meditation. So I am the source of all. From me, everything evolves. Understanding thus, the wise endowed with loving consciousness worship me. So this word bhava samanvitaha is very beautiful. We just see each word. He says aham. Now this aham is to tell you that the origin is consciousness. The origin is I. This is a very beautiful thing. It's not some atom. It's not some, AI. It's not some just, nature on its own. It's not something insentient. It's not something that cannot think and know and feel. He says, I, meaning the origin of everything is I. aham sarvasya prabhavaha. And through me, everything is sustained. Now, the wise people, they seek this. They seek this. Bhava samanvitaha. Bhava samanvita. I'll tell you this word in Sanskritam, then I'll translate to you how to do that. It says Paramartha Tattva Biniveshaha, meaning enter into it. Enter into it. Enter into that knowledge. How do you enter into that knowledge? Whenever we're looking at something, don't look at the thing, look at from where it came from. Sit, a leaf is falling from a tree. Not what is the color of the leaf and such a beautiful leaf, but how did that falling happen? And what kind of power has enabled that to happen? We see a beautiful mountain, so strong and sturdy. Not just how beautiful is that mountain, but imagine the one from whom this mountain had come. Imagine how strong, how powerful would that being be. So in everything, that bhava samanvitaha means enter into the source of it. Don't just enter into the nature of it, the look of it, the feel of it. We will do that. We will do that later on in this chapter because it's also a beautiful tool. But here he's saying, just go straight to the source of it. A feeling is coming in my mind. Where is that feeling coming from? If we keep tracing to the source, then that gives us the beautiful yoga. We enter into it. We don't get lost in the thought, but we find the source of it. A source of everything, in everything that's happening. And sometimes, people try to fix the mind, make it calm. But sometimes making the mind calm makes us even more agitated. Why can't I make my mind calm? So one Mahatma said also, the trick is you actually don't have to wait for your mind to be peaceful. Just watch it. And it comes to realize its nature of peace. So this is bhava samanvitaha, because sometimes we get too agitated trying to calm ourselves. Sometimes when we just sit back and watch, calming happens. And he says, matta sarvam pravartate, pay attention to how beautifully everything is sustained. The whole world is being sustained. The law of karma upholds. Everything is in its nature. Everything stays in its nature. Pay attention to that and feel my glory in that. This aham sarvasya prabhavaha is the yoga. Matta sarvam pravartate is the vibhuti. Feel my glory in the way things are sustained. Some person said, I don't feel any glory. I don't feel any vibhuti. I'm not seeing any miracles here in this world. You're saying all this vibhuti. I'm not seeing anything. Have you ever thought about how a baby is born from the essence of a man and a woman? A small seed grows into a fetus. And that small fetus slowly comes out and becomes a baby. And you look at that child from a seed, how that child came. And the child can see, can hear, can cry, can taste. And all of a sudden, you just look at the child. That child starts to turn. And then when the age is appropriate, the child starts to crawl. I mean, this in of itself is a vibhuti. But you don't have to research, okay, what are the vibhutis of Bhagwan? The fact that we can see is a vibhuti. Imagine that we have two eyes, and these two eyes can see so many forms, so many shapes. It can see. The fact that we have all 5 fingers, isn't that a vibhuti? It's not 4, it's not 3, but it's 5, and each one is so special, designed to do so many beautiful things. Isn't that a Vibhuti? We've forgotten that every day there is a glory. We've gotten so used to walking, gotten so used to talking, to sitting, to eating. The way that food got into our plates, isn't that a Vibhuti? So he's saying here, come on, like our mind is captured in so many different directions. Notice my yoga, notice my Vibhuti. And if you see this every day, this is called seeking me. As I said, seeking Bhagwan is really seeing Bhagwan. See it. This is how the wise people live. In everything, they're seeing that truth. And this is what Bhava Samanvitaha means. Entering into that knowledge of the truth. See my Vibhuti, see my yoga. Now, some people said, Bhagwan, this is all nice, but can you give me practical tips? You know, I'm just this person who lives in New York City. I need something more practical than this. This is not so easy. Give me some practical tips. Bhagwan says, okay, just for you, I will give you some practical tips. So this word, bhava samanvitaha, how Gurudev says, endowed with loving consciousness, this word is elaborated further now in verse number 9. Okay, so let us look at verse number 9. Macchitta madgata pranaha
मच्चित्ता मद्गदप्राणाः
bodhayantah parasparam
बोधयन्तः परस्परं
kathayantascha mam nityam
कथयन्तश्च मां नित्यं
tushyanti cha ramanti cha
तुष्यन्ति च रमन्ति च
macchitta madgata pranaha bodhayantah parasparam kathayantascha mam nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha. So here he says, Macchitta. Macchitta means with their minds wholly on me, in me. Madgata pranaha, with their life absorbed in me. Bodhayantah parasparam, enlightening mutually. Kathayantascha mam nityam. Kathayantaha, speaking mam of me, nityam, always. Tushyanti, they are satisfied. And ramanti, they are delighted. So with their minds wholly resting in me, with their senses absorbed in me, enlightening each other and ever speaking of me, they are satisfied and delighted. You know why Mahatmas are so happy? Because they remember Bhagwan. That's why. We feel sorrow when we forget Bhagwan. So anytime we feel sorrow, we feel sad, we feel disturbed, there's only one reason, and the reason is we have forgotten Bhagwan. Mahatmas are ever delighted, ever happy because they remember in Bhagwan. They remember Bhagwan. Not only they remember Bhagwan, they revel in Bhagwan. And how do they revel? Macchitta. Macchitta, their minds are just focused on me. They're captured in me. Now, you might think this is tough. My mind is not thinking about Bhagwan. It's thinking about career, it's thinking about spouse, it's thinking about children. It's not thinking about Bhagwan. So how do I do that? See, first of all, there is a lack of love. When we love something or someone, then nobody has to tell you, think of that person. Automatically, you're thinking of a person. when a lover has a beloved, huh? When a lover has a beloved, okay, he has a beloved, the whole day he's thinking, where is she? What is she doing? Who's she with? Can I call her? If he's eating something, will she like this food? If he saw something, I think she might like this. Huh? Same thing, she would be thinking, oh, if he were here, he would enjoy this. If he were here, he would like this. And for a parent to their children, when they go away and their children are not there, oh, my son, my daughter would love this. They would love this food. They would enjoy this music. I wish they were here. The whole time, you're just thinking of that person. And every one of us has experienced this. You're just thinking of that person. It's automatic. Oh, she would have really, really enjoyed this, or he would have liked this. She would have done this, or he would have said that. Why? Because there's so much love. When there's so much love, you don't have to tell anybody to think about that person. Automatically, they think about that person. Automatic. Hmm? Okay, I'm sure you know that story in Srimad Bhagavatam. All of a sudden, gopis are bhaktas. They were practicing pranayama. Naraji said, okay, why are you practicing pranayama? They said, I want to make my mind nirvishesh. Because when you practice pranayama, you can make your mind objectless. And he said, why are you doing that? And they said, because our minds are only filled with Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. We can't do any work. Only filled with Krishna. And he said, you are fortunate that your mind is only filled with Krishna. Other people would really, really like that. Hmm? So in the same way, our mind is not going there because there's a lack of love. So how do we get that love? How do we get that love so that our mind automatically goes there? The next three words are how to get that love. Madgata pranaha. Madgata pranaha. Keep your senses in that. Keep your senses in that. Keep your senses seeing auspicious things, seeing good things, seeing spiritual things. Instead of seeing all things that are disturbing and they're shocking, they're negative, keep the eyes seeing auspicious. Bhadram karnevi shunuyama devaha. Bhadram pashe makshabhir yajatraha. May the eyes see auspiciousness. Instead of hearing all negativity, hear that which is auspicious. Start using our senses to be enriched, enlivened, instead of pulling them down. What am I eating? What am I tasting? Is it that which is going to fill me with health, with vigor, with vitality, so I can serve, so I can be better? Or is it something that's pulling me down? So we have to ask ourselves, are our senses engaged in things that are enriching us, enlivening us, enlightening us? Or are our senses engaged in something that's pulling us down? We have to make this own assessment for ourselves. What is taking me towards that reality and what is taking me away from it? Oh, we should have a list. This is taking me towards it. This is taking me away from it. And if something is taking me away from it, then why am I engaging in it? So sometimes this kind of mananam we don't even do, but this is the thought to have. If I want to have that chitta, that mind that is fully in Bhagwan, then are my senses there? Because what my senses consume, that's what's making my mind. The things that I see, I hear, I touch, I taste, I smell, those are the things that are making my mind. So take care of our senses. All the time, I'm not just alone. I'm not just engaging in work, etc. Sometimes I'm meeting other people. Okay, fine. Bodhayanta paraspara. When you meet other people, talk about it. Talk about this. So not saying that you talk about Bhagwan, that's reality. If not, talk about goodness. Talk about something that's worthwhile. Our great Mahatmas, they have such a beautiful eye that in everything that they experience, they see divinity. They watch a movie together, they will see how that movie is divine. I remember when we were in Yuvavia, we watched Matrix with Swamiji. And if you watch that movie on your own, you won't get too much out of it. But the minute you sit with him after, he'll tell you, okay, this is what this means. And Neo is really the one. And Trinity is the body, mind, intellect. And Morpheus was the guru. And the Matrix was Maya. And you're thinking, what a beautiful insight. So nobody's saying live a dull life. Spirituality is in and through everything. As we said last week, spirituality is not some fixed, separate routine. It's a rhythm. Even in a movie, there's spirituality. Even in music, there's spirituality. In going to a park or nature, there's spirituality. So nobody is saying stay home and be spiritual. Bodhayantav parasparam is talk about that which uplifts you. Share these nice stories. Share these revelations that take us to the higher. In everything, there's a spiritual eye to it. And that's called Divya Chakshu. Bhagwan will come up and say that. Just, in the next verse or so, he'll say Divya Chakshu. So when we speak, what are we speaking about? Sometimes people speak to complain. Sometimes people speak because they want to show off. Sometimes people speak because they want to vent out. Sometimes people speak because they just have nothing to do. They just want to go on and on and on. If we remember in chapter 17, way back, we studied before, Vak Shakti. Speak that which is necessary. Speak that which is beneficial. Speak that which will create a beautiful vibration in the world. We don't understand, but by our speech, the whole vibration around us is affected. If you live in a home, the words you speak are affecting not only children, spouse, parents, they're affecting the plants also. They're affecting the food also. They're affecting every single thing. That speech is affecting everything. So, bodhayanta paraspara. Then, okay, what if there's, what if we're not discussing about anything? Kathayantaha cha mam nityam. Then tell stories of me. Take everybody together, tell a story. There's one story I'll share with you. I shared in Bal Vihar this week. It's a very nice story that the five fingers got into a quarrel. Yeah, the five fingers, they got into a quarrel. Which is the best finger? They were all fighting. Which is the best finger? And of course, the thumb said, I am the best one. Why? Because without me, you cannot pick up anything, you cannot lift anything, you cannot hold anything. I am the best one. You cannot drive also. So you can't do without me. The index finger said, I am the best one. Why? Because I am the finger that's used to point at things. And when you point at things, that's how people learn. When you say, this is a table, this is a chair, this is this person, this is that person, that's how people learn. Then the middle finger said, no, no, no. I am the best one because I am the tallest. Okay, I am the tallest, I am the best one. Then the ring finger said, no, I am the tallest. No, you're not the tallest. Okay, I'm not the tallest, but I'm the one that gets adorned. When people get married, they put a ring on the ring finger. They put ornaments in the ring finger. So I'm the one that has the most ornamentation, that always has nice accessories. So I'm the best. And the pinky kept quiet. Because what will the pinky say? So all of them were fighting. Which one is the best finger? The thumb said, it's me. Without me, you cannot live. The index finger said, me, because without me, you cannot know anything. The middle one said, I'm the tallest. The ring finger said, I'm the one that has the most jewelry and adorned. Then finally, Devi came. And she came to all of them and she said, I know you all are valuable, but I will tell you who is the best finger. The best finger is not the thumb, and it's not the index finger, not the middle finger, and not the ring finger, is the pinky. Why? Because when you visit my temple and you do namaskara, whose finger is the closest to me, to my murti, is the pinky. Therefore, that is the best. This is katha. Katha is that which uplifts us. That is called katha. So if we don't have anything to discuss, pick up a story. I don't have a story. Open Ramayana, open Mahabharata. Now when all the holidays are there, Thanksgiving, this will happen, that will happen, Deepavali, Vijayadashami, family will come over, Dadi, Dada, Nana, Nani, all of them will be there. Katha, talk about some katha, something that uplifts. Kathayantascha mam nitya. Tell stories about me. Tushyanti. In this way, that wise person becomes satisfied. Tushyanti means with other people also they're satisfied. Ramanti, and even on their own, they revel. They're very happy. So, what is the practical way to enter into that reality? Have your mind, machita, have your mind just dwell on it. Our mind is not dwelling on it. What can we do? Madgata prana. Enrich the senses, enrich it with these things that will illuminate us, enlighten us, make us feel love, make us feel reverence. What about when I'm talking to other people? Talk about this. You don't have to talk about the Gita, you don't have to talk about Bhagwan per se, but talk about goodness at least. If you're with family, if you're in another place, what can I do? Katha. And that way, one is delighted and ever reveling in life. One beautiful thing I saw, there was some post that said, what if we treated Bhagavad Gita like we treat our cell phones? Okay, when we forget our cell phone at home, we feel very panicked. So when we forget the Bhagavad Gita, we should feel panicked. And every time we want to check our cell phones for messages, what if we checked the Bhagavad Gita like we checked our cell phones? What if we wanted to receive messages from the Bhagavad Gita like we receive from our cell phones? What if the first thing we did when we woke up was open the Bhagavad Gita instead of our cell phones? What if we felt lost without the Bhagavad Gita, just like we feel lost without our cell phones? Just imagine how our life would change. Instead of scrolling through the cell phone, what if we're scrolling the verses of Bhagavad Gita? That person is called wise, and that is bhava samanvita. Now, one more thing I'll share with you about Vibhuti in yoga, because today is Navaratri. There is a stotra called Ardhanarishwara Stotra. This Ardhanarishwara Stotram is very, very beautiful because it talks about Shiva and Shakti, and it juxtaposes the two of them. So I'm just going to share with you maybe one or two verses. And this Shiva Shakti is also Vibhuti and yoga. So you can see how glorious our culture is, that in everything you can see this reality. I'll first chant, I'll share it with you so you can see what it is. I'll chant it and then I'll explain. Champeya Gaurardha Sharirakaye Karpura Gaurardha Sharirakaye Dhammilakaye Chajatadharaya Namah Shivaya Cha Namah Shivaya Namah Shivaya Cha Namah Shivaya. So this verse says, Champeya Gaurardha. So half of the form is goddess Parvati, and her complexion has very nice, beautiful flowers, right? And the complexion of Bhagavan Shiva is like the complexion of Karpura, camphor. Then if you look at the head of goddess Parvati, it's braided beautifully. But if you look at the head of Bhagwan Shiva, is all jata, all matted hair. So one is Shiva, one is Shakti. So you'll see this in Shiva Shakti. Lord Shiva, as you go down, right? His neck, his adornment is snakes. He has sometimes a garland of skulls. And goddess Parvati she has a garland of flowers. Bhagavan Shiva is known as Digambaraya, meaning he has space for his clothes. But goddess Parvati is Divyambaraya. She's the one who has Divya ornaments as her clothes. So one is full of Vibhuti and the other one is full of yoga. One is very expressive. One is in yoga. One's eyes are fully open. One's eyes are closed. So even in stotrams like this, Shiva Shakti, Ardhanarishvara, it shows yoga and it shows Vibhuti. So see this everywhere. See Vibhuti, see yoga. There's a reason Bhagavan gave us two eyes. See Vibhuti, see yoga. Your eyes are there, open, see Vibhuti. Eyes are closed, see yoga. When we're in noise, see Vibhuti. When we're in silence, see yoga. When the whole world is active, see Vibhuti. When it's dormant, see yoga. When our attention is on the names and forms, see Vibhuti. But when it's on the string underlying everything, see yoga. Whatever it is, start seeing. Start seeing. And even how perilous and tremorous those forms are, don't get shaken up by that. Know that it's just Devi smiling beneath it all. And when we know that, that is Avikampa Yoga, the Tremorless Yoga, where we're not shaken up by anything, because ultimately at the end of the day, we know that there's no other thing to shake us. There's only one. So how can we move? Right? So that is the message today in Bhagavad Gita. Next week, we'll see more beautiful verses. This chapter is also very beautiful. But just pay attention to all of this Vibhuti and yoga throughout the whole week. Right? Stop here. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.